Hi again, and thank you for joining me. It gives me great pleasure to be able to do these little videos to talk about ideas that I find interesting, and I hope you do too. So, what I'm looking at today is what are the problems with being an introvert or an extrovert? Some years ago, I was involved in a Myers-Briggs assessment for a whole group that I belonged to, and the convener of the group um, asked us, once we'd sort of figured out whether we were introvert or extrovert, we were asked to go to different sides of the room and among ourselves to discuss what was the one question that we wanted to ask the others. So the introverts got together and, talked about sort of what the question was they wanted to ask the extroverts. And the extroverts did their bit as well, and they were much noisier, of course, and spoke over each other and lots of laughter and all that kind of thing. Anyway, after that had happened, the two groups were asked to, choose a representative to say what their question was. And it was very interesting because the extroverts said, look, you guys, you just got to lighten up. You're going to die of depression if you carry on like this. You can't live your life so closed down. You'll go nuts. This is crazy. You can't carry on so shut down. So there was, some sort of banter about that. And then the introverts were asked what their big question was to ask the extroverts, and they said, we're really worried you're going to burn out. The way you keep going all the time, you never have any quiet time, you're just full on. You really need to settle down, quieten down, just get a handle on your life. Otherwise, you're just going to burn up, collapse. So what was really interesting was that both sides thought the others were pretty ill. And it's one of the things I find really interesting because in terms of that Myers-Briggs assessment, I was pretty well middle of down the line. I like having time to myself. I recharge better on my own. I desperately at times need time to myself. And then there are other times when I know I need to go out and that will help me because I can get more, the interaction with other people lifts me up. So it was quite an interesting place to be in, and I didn't know there was such a thing as an ambivert until just fairly recently, actually. So that's the way that you can, have a bit both ways. But there are some serious problems with the description of and what we understand, through popular culture about being introvert or extrovert. And it's based on that stereotype of, that you're sick if you're too much as an extrovert and you're sick if you're not enough as an introvert. What it comes down to, though, is whether you are confident with who you are as a human being and that you feel okay being the way that you are, so that you don't feel a compulsion to always say something, always be the center of attention, or, conversely, to have a compulsion just to disappear yourself. Because both of those things create a tension that happens because you are not being authentic. You're not able to be who you really are. You're not able to, as an introvert, you might hold back on things that are really important for you to say about where you stand and what's important to you, the way that you can contribute to a situation if you're pushing that down all the time. And equally, if you're an extrovert and you're taking up all the airtime in a meeting, for example, you could be in the situation where nobody's really taking you seriously because you're just operating from this sort of full-on verbal way of behaving. So either way, it comes back to authenticity, really. Who are you really? And self-confidence is an interesting word, because confidence is about the faith that you have with. So it's with yourself, the faith that you have with how you are around other people. So you're not, consistently sort of adjusting yourself to fit in with other people. Um, and and faith in the bigger play of life, that there is more to life than our little existence. We are part of a much bigger organism, if you like, or much bigger game that is being played, if that's one way that you like to look at it. It comes back to, again, what is our purpose on this planet, and how can we best give what we can contribute in a way that is consistent with who we are, so that we're authentic and in integrity. So anyway, that all got a bit serious, didn't it? So the yeah, so it's something to think about. I'd be interested to know from people who've been watching, what you think, how you feel that introvert extrovert description fits you, and whether you feel in some ways sort of shut down or categorized in a box, because of that descriptor. There might be bits of you that you really want to release into the world. Okay, thank you, and I'll talk to you again. Bye.